call the meeting of the February 18th Community Grafton Cable Oversight Committee meeting. And just to do Governor Baker's instructions here as a preliminary matter. This is Jim Gallagher, the chair of the Grafton Committee. Members, when I call your name, you should answer in the affirmative. If there's any speakers, Bob DeToma will let me know. The open meeting of the Grafton Cable Committee is conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the COVID. In order to mitigate the transmission of the virus, we've been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the regular meeting. The order, which you can find posted on the town's website, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely, as long as the public has a chance to get in on it. For this meeting, we're convening by Zoom. And in the Zoom meetings, as you know, it is being recorded, and some attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you, and take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the meeting. The other information about points of order and everything like that are all consistently the same. Any request to be heard should be coming through the chair, which is me. So, having said that, let me take roll call attendance. Bob Berger.
Bob Berger, present.
Bob Berger is present. Bob DeToma.
Here.
Bob DeToma is here. Jim Gallagher is here. Bob Hassinger.
I'm here.
Bob Hassinger is here. Jack Kelly.
Here.
Jack Kelly is here. Lisa Kelly.
Present.
Lisa Kelly is present. And Corson Wyman.
Yes,
A
present.
blast from the past. So we are all present. And let's see. We'll start off. Bob, is there any members of the public that are on? No. Okay. So there's no public input. You received the minutes of our meeting from January 21st. Did anyone have any issues? Is there a motion on the board, on the floor, about the minutes?
I make a motion we accept the minutes from January 21st of 2021.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. And is there any discussion? All right, hearing none. We'll do a roll call vote. Bob Berger.
Bob Berger, aye.
Bob Berger, aye. Bob DeToma.
Aye.
Bob DeToma, aye. Jim Gallagher, aye. Bob Hassinger.
Aye.
Bob Hassinger, aye. Jack Kelly.
Aye.
Jack Kelly, aye. Lisa Kelly.
Aye.
Lisa Kelly, aye. And Corson Wyman.
Aye.
Corson Wyman is aye. Before we jump to the treasurer's thing, Bob, can you remember when I turned this on, there's little blue lights under the screen? Do you remember how many should be on, or Jack?
Blue lights at the bottom of the screen.
Well, like on the base. Wait a minute. Oh, I think it's just coming on now.
He's talking about the laptop, guys.
Yeah. All right. All right. We'll let that play for a while. So we'll recognize young Mr. Berger for our treasurer's report.
So I did ask for a management report today, and I did not receive it. But what I can tell you is we did receive our fourth quarter payment for Verizon. And Bob, I think you saw that. I'll give you guys the bottom number, $60,562.57. Now, I do have backup information on it. If you want, I can share the screen and show it to you. I really don't understand what these figures are telling me. So
that's exactly what we're hoping to hear the treasurer say.
Well, Bob H., you saw this report?
I didn't get a chance to read through it. the reports have been a little bit,
Well, here is our report, our turn-in sheet. And here is the check. And this is the report. This is the way I read it. And here's our amount down here.
right?
And I guess they're deducting all of these fees. So Verizon must have brought in 1,064,6034. And then they turn around and they must deduct all of this, and that's where we come up with our number.
Actually, I think they come down to total receipts. The next to the last line.
Okay.
I think those numbers that you're talking about are ads, except for bad debt.
I see it now.
And so they ended up with a net revenue that we are entitled to a part of 1,211,000, so on. And then our grant should be half.
And that's where they came out with the 60,000.
Right. You know, it's 5%. That should be 5% of.
And it is. It is 5%.
It used to be a little more puzzling than it is now when they were doing the deductions for the studio.
Yeah.
Easier now.
So you can now I see it. Thank you, Bob. It makes perfect sense now.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions from the committee? Because I won't be able to answer them.
I'm glad to see that apparently they're not deducting from the studio anymore.
Right, and for the labor, and for Chris, or whatever that body was called in this report.
That's a Verizon report you're looking at, not a charter.
That's true. Thank you, Bob, for correcting me.
Question. What's the difference between bad debt and what might be good debt?
Well, there is no good debt. They have bad debt is somebody owed them money and they just wrote it off. Meaning somebody didn't pay their bill most likely. And they got $3,152 of they're trying to get some money and they didn't get it. And that's the treasurer's report. And next month, I will work a little harder on getting the monthly report so I can give you the percentages of where we stand within our allocation of our warrant article from town meeting.
I wonder if you might have any information on our meeting last month. You had talked about the requesting the money and emergency items, and you had said that you were going to talk more about putting the monies in the right accounts this month. You remember that?
I do remember, and I have not had time to pull a PowerPoint presentation together to show this committee what we did. I know what you're talking about. And just for the committee, what Jim is talking about is when we've been paying the bills, we've been paying them all out of one line item. And that line item was the wrong item to take services and cleaning and utility bills. So that item was out of whack. So I sat down and I made a lot of journal entries to straighten out the accounts so they all represent what they're truly paying for. I will have that for you on next month. I will pull a PowerPoint presentation together and I'll present it to this committee.
Thank you. On an unrelated matter, before we vote on the report, Bob, is the password, does it have to have capital letters? I forget the word you called.
You know what's sad? I just want to say what's sad. You know, in high school, we were probably all members of the AV club. We're doing a very poor job here.
Jim, I'm sorry, I'm at a loss. What is it you want?
Oh, no, never mind. I got it. I didn't know if they were case specific, like a capital P. And so
It
the
is a
answer.
capital, it is a capital P.
Yep. All right. I may be actually starting to log in. All right. Having said that, is there a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
I don't think we need a motion to accept it. I think it was just information.
Just informational? All right. Lovely. All right. So we're going to go to, I'm sorry I'm trying to get the laptop to work at the same time. To Mr. DeToma. And before we talk about the closed captioning, did you have any information about the, from last month? You had information you were going to be checking into on closed captioning. Did you have anything else on that?
Yep.
Bob DeToma.
Bob DeToma nodded yes, Jim.
It's just waiting for Jim to stop. All right, here we go. Here's all the homework we did on closed captioning. I did participate in a Zoom meeting with two gentlemen. One guy's name was Caleb, and he represented a company called Lexi, which was the actual service of the captioning. And his counterpart, John, from a company called EEG, Edward George. And their video took me through the steps of the use of their product and how easily the system currently identifies words in the English language. There will always be a few words or local regional phrases that it might not recognize, like someone might say park the car, and it might have a little trouble with that. It will also struggle from time to time with really thick accents, but it will learn. They took me through the steps of how one would load a video into the system. A lot of the functionality is very simple, very similar to things we've done in the past as far as loading the server or downloading the server, loading product in, deleting product out, all very simple stuff. And there is a video they're going to send to me that I can forward to the membership. The odd part of this conversation that I had with these two gentlemen was that they were very non-committal as far as a quote or any idea of pricing. It's almost as if they wanted to avoid the subject. I thought it was really odd that somebody would want to do that. And I'm not quite sure whether they just didn't have information in front of them, but it was just puzzling to me. And at one point I made a comment about the Tightrope server, and one of them said, "Oh, you have Tightrope." And they went kind of quiet. So after the call ended, the very first thing I did was I got a hold of Tightrope support and said, "By the way, do you guys do closed captioning?" Well, guess what? They do. So our current server company, Tightrope Cablecast, does offer closed captioning services, and they do it in conjunction with a partner company. So hearing that piece of information, there is a video that they offer that I can also forward so that we can see exactly what their product looked like compared to the previous company, Lexi. Truth be told, if we proceeded with any type of system that did closed captioning, I would imagine that all of us, if not many of us, would choose to go with a company that we currently do business with and have a very robust support system, a simple phone call, and they walk us through any issue that pops up. Having said all of that, I also had a chance to talk to my counterpart, Mark Serra in Shrewsbury, about this very same topic. And he says, "Hi, Bob Hassinger, how are you?" I asked him if they currently use a closed captioning system, and he said that they do. They use it very sparingly, was his quote. And I asked him why, and he said because they're cost prohibitive. So, and one of the things that he mentioned in our conversation, and I think Mr. Hassinger mentioned it last meeting, was that are we required? Why aren't we required? He said, under the Americans with Disability Act, we are required. And he said that they built in an escape route so that PEG access operations can say, hold on, this is way too expensive, so we're going to claim poor mouth and we want an exemption. And he said that they will allow that. So PEG operations that have the funding are using it, which is why cities like Detroit, San Jose were mentioned, and lots of others opted out because of the cost factor. Mark also indicated to me that he said, even though the system is smart and identifies thousands of words in the English language, he said that it's still basically a pain in the butt. We talked about other possible workarounds or shortcuts or any other ideas. And one of the things that he offered up was, he said that YouTube actually already does closed captioning.
Hold on, Bob. Hold on. Jim, you have two devices running at the same time.
Yeah, I'm trying to hang up on my phone. I'll be right with you. All right. I think I shut off the audio on this.
Yeah, you might have, because we don't have a feedback.
Right.
Neither of yours are
Okay.
muted.
No, he's got it. He shut one down.
You good now?
Yeah, I think we're good.
The
Continue,
Thank you.
Bob.
phone's gone. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry for the interruption.
It's okay. Back to the Zoomiverse. Where did I leave off? Cost per
Lost
handle. Oh,
somebody.
pain in the butt. It was a pain in the butt. So some of the experiences that they had in Shrewsbury was they didn't get a lot of requests from the citizens for closed captioning. He said they had one case where someone was trying to sue them because she or he couldn't get closed captioning for the Shrewsbury School Committee. And he said eventually the complaint went away. We assumed that the person aged out of the system, so to speak. The workaround using YouTube sounded very, very interesting. So while we were on the phone, we went into the YouTube channel for government videos that we have, and there is a setting where you can tell it to do closed captioning. So I'm curious to see when I load the next public meeting, I'm assuming probably planning board, to see how long it takes YouTube to add the captioning in. He was under the belief that you could let YouTube do the captioning, download the video once it's been captioned, and then upload it back to your system. If that is factual, we save ourselves a bunch of money.
Yeah, but I don't think that works, Bob. How the
Well-
hell's that going to work on a selectmen's meeting, especially when we're doing it live?
Yeah, the live, that doesn't cover live.
Right, it does not cover live. It does
Well,
not.
that's no
cover live.
good.
No matter who we spoke to, no matter which company you go with, there will be a piece of equipment that needs to be installed into the server rack. So again, if you were to spend the money and you wanted to use the service, I'm leaning toward Tightrope because maybe that piece of equipment is already in there. We just don't know it. But anyway,
Well, wait a minute. I want to ask you a question before you jump. I'm sorry to do this. But if we buy that piece of equipment, it does it live, right?
the problem is that's where the cost comes from.
Right, I know that, but I'm just wanted that question. If we buy the equipment, we can get closed caption for a live production.
Okay, I haven't got all the details from Tightrope yet, but for the other company, Lexi, they led me to believe that yes, you can do live captioning.
Okay.
That's pretty much what I have. Is there any questions?
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone have any questions?
Oh, I was going to just simply comment, if I may. It's almost like having a bug on the screen. You could have it running all the time on any feed that you would have going out to take care of any closed captioning of any program, for that matter, right?
The one demonstration that I saw from the company I didn't like, they had a timing option set onto it. And the reason why it had a timing option was so that you didn't go over your minutes. So you would have to kind of guesstimate, okay, planning board is on Monday night, planning board might run 2.5 hours. We'll set the timer for 3 hours. And that way, if that meeting ends and you walk away from the system, the meter's not running. And it times out after 3 hours, which makes sense. And it's nice that they would build in a function like that. I just thought it was interesting that Mark, Sarah, and Shrewsbury really thought that the entire idea is just really, really cost prohibitive. When I pursue this and go through Tightrope Cablecast and find out what's going on with them, who knows? Maybe they have a very affordable system. I don't know.
Do we know what the, sorry, I was going to say, do you know what the latency is between when someone speaks and when it actually shows up on the screen?
It's not as fast as you would like it to be.
Well, never is, but.
Well, I guess that's their way of saying, you know, you get what you get.
Guys, I got to step away from my desk for 1 minute. I'll be back in a minute.
Bob,
Okay.
Bob, just backing up, I pulled up, finally got the document that you showed about the Verizon payment. Are you
Well, he
there?
just stepped away.
Well,
He had to step away. We'll get him when he comes back. If anyone has anything that they'd like to say about Bob Berger, now is the perfect time. All right, hearing that, Bob DeTolma, should we leave this on the agenda? Okay, we'll put it on the agenda. Now, I'm wondering if you can give us a little story as to what's been going on. And Jack can chime in or whatever as to what's been going on at the studio.
Oh, I'll let Jack take the ball and run with it. Young Jack Kennedy, I mean Kelly.
Yes, my computer crashed, so I had to come in here. So we've started a couple, but yeah, we have a couple new programs. We're continuing with Bus Stop Weather. We took a week off because I believe this was February vacation, and Julia had her wisdom teeth out. Then we had the Tai Chi guy come in. I believe his name is Bill, and he did a very good job, and it came out really well. And we have already completed filming for episode 2 of Business to Business that will be coming out shortly. And then today, me and Bill Robidoux finished filming episode 3 of Business to Business. We did 2 automotive places. And also a side note for Bob DeTolma, since I won't see him until the beginning of next week, we weren't able to do any like silly outros because there's not a lot you could do with cars, but we took a lot of B-roll of some of their more advanced equipment, so that can be used instead. And that's about it. We got those 3. The Business to Business is really, it's doing well. The first video that's up on YouTube has over 120 views right now, and I'm not sure how much traction it's gotten on Facebook, but I'm assuming it's pretty similar to that.
So you need to kind of make note, and when our friend comes back after having her wisdom teeth out, see if there's any worsening of her weather predictions without her wisdom teeth in. Will you?
I told her, I said we should do it. She was getting it done the day before we usually shoot, and I said, I really should consider coming in and shooting. And I think that'd be fun.
Excellent. Any questions about the studio report? Oh, I'm sorry, Bob DeTolma.
I just want to touch on 2 things that Jack was probably not aware of. Um, we recently added the Unitarian Universalist Society of Grafton and Upton Sunday services to the program. I don't know if I mentioned that at the last meeting. So that means we now have religious services for St. Mary's Parish, Town of Grafton, the UUSGU, and the continuing music spoken word. And the other thing was, some of you may be aware that we get some of our programming from around the world through pegmedia.org. They have been purchased by our friends at Tightrope Cablecast. So what does that mean is going to change in the future? Probably not a lot based on their promotional information on the webpage. They say that they can promote PEG access videos more robustly than the gentleman that ran PEG Media. So for the short term, it hasn't changed at all, but it's interesting to see what will happen in the future. That's
Okay, thank you. Bob Berger, Bob Hassinger wanted to ask you something, but before we go back to that, can I just ask if there's anything else about the studio report, that any questions, comments that anyone has? Bob Berger?
No, Bob H was first.
Oh, I didn't see his wave.
Yeah, no, I'm,
That's a much better wave.
well, see, without a green screen, it's that Mr. Berger will explain. No, I just in the last few weeks, I've noticed some of the new programs, but I've only noticed them because I was watching posts that said that I think it's YouTube things that tell me new things have been uploaded. And it reminded me back when we had John, we used to have more sending out of information, telling people all about what's being done. And our recently departed town administrator changed that. And I'm wondering how we're doing on that, and on, I meant to go in and try to get into whatever website we have now, but I haven't been able to get into it. I haven't had time to get into it to see about
Okay, Bob
what we might
DeTomo?
be doing
Oh,
there.
I'm sorry. Can you answer that, Bob?
on that topic, I had a chance to have a sit down today with William Blake, who's the new #2 / communications specialist. And he has a long list of ideas of things that he wants to help promote in town, including us. Just a brief list of the things we talked about today. He wants to promote the use of masks during the time of COVID. Is some program they're working on called Mask Up Grafton. They want to do PSAs by having VIPs either come in the studio or participate via Zoom. He's very, very interested in promoting any and all projects that we might have going on, plus any that he and the new town administrator will cook up. We talked about the relationship with the previous administration and how things might change going forward starting Monday. He's a very energetic young man, has a lot of great ideas, and a lot of the things that he mentioned I had already brought up in conversation with other people around town hall. So yeah, it will be interesting to see how that will proceed going forward. I see good things. I just have a good impression, and hopefully we'll reap the benefit. One of the things he talked about was if the weight of the town administrator's office was behind efforts to put out the word of GCTV and get people to participate, even if they just send us a video like some people are currently doing, maybe they can add some weight to that message. So yeah, Bob, it could turn out to be a pretty good relationship.
But if I'd really like, if you have a town, an email for the new guy, I'd appreciate it if you'd send it to me. I just want to pass a couple of thoughts on to him. Just,
His email is the same as everybody else's in Grafton. It's last name first and then first initial. So,
But I'd have to be able to spell the name and all of it. You know, if you could just email it to me
All right, I wonder
or
if
text it to me or whatever.
before we get into anything like this, I think we need to make sure that any of these suggestions or anything like that, they're coming from the committee and not 7 people at once, like everybody contacting them and things like that. So where Bob DeTomer has already made the contact, can you funnel, or if you have any thoughts or anything like that, could we funnel them through Bob DeTomer, please, so that
I'm an individual, and I'd like to just suggest to them, particularly about graftontv.org, and it's a technical thing. Get that routed to wherever our website is. Simple enough.
okay, but if you're sending them anything, can you see? Excuse, let me just finish my sentence. If you're going to send him anything, could you please CC Bob DeTomer so that
Sure.
we're all aware of what's going on?
Sure.
That'd be great.
You've all, well, all of the members that have been here since Tim did what he did,
Yeah.
know, and actually already know it, although they don't know what I'm talking about. It's okay.
No, that's nothing new though.
Yeah,
Bob.
yeah. Yeah, Jim. You want to talk about, or should we route that through somebody? There was some other part of that, but okay. Just Bob Berger on the Verizon. I've sorted out a little bit here, and that was 60,000 and a bit this time. I don't have readily at hand the recent numbers for other quarters, but it's down significantly from quarters a little ways back, and it'd be interesting to check what the numbers are each of the last, half a dozen quarters.
Sure. Yeah, I can do that. It goes from 72 to 60,000.
Yeah, that's about what I thought.
They've been coming in lately at 68, 65, 68.
Yeah, and now it's down to 60. This is,
Are we talking Charter?
No, we're talking
No.
Verizon.
Verizon.
Bob reported, showed us Verizon, not
Okay.
Charter. That was a little confusing, and that's why I didn't quite have this pulled together.
I'll get more information for next month. It's just
Okay.
been a very busy month in the building department.
I have a
Okay.
question relative to this topic. I'm sorry.
Okay, no, go ahead. Let's just make sure it goes there.
Do the cable companies differentiate between cable subscribers and internet subscribers?
Yes, absolutely. And we only get money for the cable. We do not get money. We do not get licensing. We do not get anything for telephone or internet.
And that's the problem, Bob.
Precisely. That's the
the
over
problem.
the top.
But Congress has to fix that, because if all these millennials, and I've been saying it for 10 years now, when these millennials cut the cord, and everybody cuts the cord, and they're all on the internet watching their yoo-hoos, how are we gonna get funded? Well, Congress is gonna have to.
Remember,
work
I've
on
mentioned
that.
that
Oh, okay, one at a time.
every time.
Bob Haskins.
I've mentioned. Remember, I've mentioned that every month,
I have to.
every meeting.
Bob Berger.
All right. Can we get off this subject and I can bring one thing up?
Yes, go.
All right. So we spent a lot of money making our conference room a Zoom meeting room. And when we did that, it was great. But now the only way to get these meetings on live is for a body to be in the municipal center to turn that button on. I've been working for the past couple months on getting some equipment at the studio location, the new one, so they don't have to go to the municipal center to get these programs up and running live. I don't have a price yet. I don't think it's going to be big money to do it, but I'm going to bring that forward once I have it. And Jim, don't put it on the agenda until I give you the heads up, because I've been working on it for 2 months now and I still not ready to go. I just wanted to give everybody the heads up that I am working on this.
I think that may be something that Jack Kelly might be interested in too.
They all are.
Either
all
that
are.
or he was giving Lisa Kelly the finger.
Yeah, no, they don't want to go to the studio. They don't want to go to the municipal center just to turn on a laptop. Now, we never knew that this was going to happen. We thought that when COVID started, we were going to have these meetings at home and maybe somebody was going to be in the studio. That was our intention. We spent thousands of dollars doing that, but it never worked. Eventually, it's going to work when this crisis is over and somebody has to do a mulligan. Instead of doing the mulligan, if they're in Hawaii, they can just go into a Zoom and they can participate live through Zoom. But that's not going to happen until we can all get together and be in person.
Okay.
But we're ready for it. We're ready for that. I just didn't realize that we're not in there physically, and there's no need for us to have to go into the municipal center to just flick a button.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Berger. Are there any other, Jack?
I have a question regarding that. Is there any way for us to just move the equipment that's in Studio A down?
Yeah, we must have a bad connection. I didn't really hear that.
Is there
No.
any way?
The answer is
for-
no. The answer is
Okay.
no. No,
All right.
we spent $10,000 putting equipment in to make conference room a laptop, meaning you don't need to have a laptop for that room to be Zoom. That room is a laptop now. And we're not duplicating that. We just need to buy a piece of equipment, a little tiny box that will hook up in the studio so it will do the interconnection.
The little Intel NUC, right?
Yes.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I really, not,
I'm sorry. What, Bob? Bob Hassinger?
not now, but I'd really like to know in more detail exactly what what this is, what you've done and what this is. I've not been privileged to get any of it, but on a technical level, let's not bother people.
I don't know why you just moved. I can forward you over the as-built so you can see how every piece of equipment is interconnected with itself.
Yeah, I want to know what the end result is intended to be, and
Well, wait a minute. Before we walk away from this, the end result in conference room A is right now you're sitting in front of a laptop right now, and you're participating in a Zoom meeting. Just listen to me before you shake your head, please.
Well,
that's the way you are right now. You have a laptop in front of you or a computer in front of you with a microphone and a camera. If you were in conference room A, you would be sitting at your conference room table. The microphone that you usually sit in would be the microphone of your laptop, and the camera that's mounted on the ceiling is now the camera that would be on your laptop. So like I said before, that room is a big laptop now. And you don't get that repeating echo that you would if, when Jim had his two devices on at the same time. We solved the echo problem, so it works perfect.
I'm trying to, is this supposed to be so that one person can be in there, or is this supposed to be relative to when we can actually have meetings in the room again with multiple people?
You can have everybody sitting at their stations. All the microphones will be live as a Zoom, and you have the cameras can now act as certain cameras can be the camera of your laptop.
Does the camera switch automatically from person to person?
No, I think you might have just a wide shot. I think that's what happened with the cameras.
I don't think you'd want to have it shift from person to person, because if you have somebody that's talking over someone else, we'll probably blow a fuse.
No, I think it's a wide shot. Is that correct, Bob? Or you don't remember? Bob D.
We're talking about something that's probably not going to happen for well over a year before we get back into that room. And second, That little black box is simply what gives us the ability to log in and grab the signal and send it off to the server here and then out to the viewers at home. So you're making it a way complicated explanation. That little box just gives us the ability to log in, grab the video, send it off, and that's all it does. And the viewers at home see the screen just as we're all seeing this meeting now. What you're describing is what the ultimate goal is for when we do get back into that room.
Right.
So that we can have physical people in the room, virtual people on Zoom in the room, call in from the citizens of Grafton. But until we get through this crisis, there's really no point in talking about this.
Oh, that's
Well,
just
we
like the
wanted to
preview
know.
of coming attractions.
He wanted to know, and we did it. I'm kind of proud of Conference Room A. And we even set up the call-in almost like a radio station where they're in queue. So you can line all these people up in queue if they wanted, if there was a public hearing.
And as always, we could always allow Auburn to have their meetings there too, because the colors would be right there on the wall.
No, that's Millbury. That's Millbury.
Whatever. Okay, I'm going to move along. The next meeting is March 15th. Does that raise any hairs on the back of anyone's neck?
That's a,
It's back
It's
to
a
the
March.
regular third Monday.
March 15th is a Monday.
Did I say May?
Looks right for now.
No, you said March. March is fine.
Yeah. That's the third
Ides
Monday.
of March.
Beware the Ides of March. There you go. And it's a good thing we'll be doing it on Zoom because we don't want to have Bob Passenger bringing in any knives. All right. Before I look for a motion to adjourn.
So
can I just
moved.
ask- Not
So
yet.
moved.
Not yet. Can I just ask, does anyone else have anything in their mind? I know it's not like an agenda item, but I just want to make sure that with this setup like this, that everyone's been heard that wanted to be heard. All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I made a motion.
Yeah,
Second.
but I wasn't accepting it yet. All right, we have a motion made. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, the vote is by roll call. Bob Berger.
Nay.
Bob Berger, aye. Bob DeToma.
Aye.
Bob DeToma is aye. I read his lips. Jim Gallagher is aye. Bob Hassinger.
Aye.
Aye, okay. Jack Kelly.
Aye.
Jack Kelly is aye. Lisa Kelly.
Aye.
Lisa Kelly is aye. And the ever elusive Corson Wyman.
Aye.
Corson Wyman is aye. We are now adjourned.